Well, you underground. It is Alec here.
And RJ here.
And today we are starting a new segment that we hope to continue for quite a little while. And we are calling it How to Play Rogue Decks. Now, if you remember, me, famously known for Nordics.
I often play Scraps.
Himself, famously known for Scraps. And the idea for this archetype, for this first segment, we're going to call it... okay. Don't not play good cards just because you're running a rogue deck. Don't forego good cards because you're running a rogue deck. For example, this is something that I see on DN, which just makes me want to cry. And it's when I'm playing this guy, and he goes like, I'm playing Nordics. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I love finding new Nordic players. And then you find him running this card. This card is Mara of the Nordic Alfar.
It's a Nordic card.
It is a Nordic card. Now, here's the stipulation. If this card is used as a synchro material monster, the other synchro monsters they are two other Nordic monsters in your hand. Now people go like, oh, why is that bad? The other tuner for Loki, that's Swartolf. That's kind of hard to use. This is a much easier way to get Loki. The reason why you don't use this to make Loki is because in order to make Loki, it has to be 2. The 2 monsters you're going to use to make 2 and a 10 is both 4s. So, here are the level 4s that you can choose from. This is Gamar of the Nordic Beast. He's like Wall of Illusion, but doesn't work on any X-Seeds or anything over level 4. So he's a Wall of Illusion for Thunder King, and just about nothing else. Alright, so that card's pretty bad. I'm sure there's something in these other 2 level 4s that could make up for it. This is Legisel Self of the Nordic Alpha. Legisel Self? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Someone who...
It starts with an L.
Legisel Self of the Nordic Alpha. We just call it that fairy with the uterus. But, okay, when this card is normal summoned, you can select one face-up card you control, except this card. Special summon one Nordic monster from your hand whose level is less than or equal to that monster's level. Okay, that's not bad. You can pick level 4s and, like, empty your hand out of level 4s. If Nordics had a way to plus...
Also...
This is just...
Isn't the whole point of running this, you want Nordics in your hand for Mara of the Nordic Alfar? Why is this synergistic?
I mean, this card, this is part of the weird gimmick where you're supposed to go... Here, let me dig it out of my Nordic collection. If you read Konami's article, which I can link to you to if you really want to read it, pretty good read. The whole purpose of this card is you're supposed to miraculously summon this. I don't really remember if the article explains how you're supposed to summon this. But once you get this out, you can summon this card, and then you special this card, and then you make Loki, and that's how he's supposed to work. Also, that's the reason no one plays him. But, yeah, not bad. I can see you making a rank 4 with this. I mean, it's inherent minus, but, it could be worse. And, so we're going to put 1 in the absolute loss column. We're going to put 1 in the Mac column. Our third level 4. I lost him. He's over here. His name is Tyre of the Nordic Champions. What he does, your opponent cannot...
4-star 2,000 beater.
4-star 2,000 beater. When he's face up on the field, your opponent cannot select another Nordic as an attack target, so kind of protects those black goats, even though if it's something where you have a face-up Nordic, and then he would be there, and they couldn't beat over him, but they might be able to beat over the other. Wait, what's the second part of his effect? If there are no other face-up Nordic monsters on the field, destroy this card. So, Tyre, an honorable samurai, sacrifices himself if he lays down his life if his sheep are dead. Just like Jesus lays down his life for his sheep, and this guy, if his sheep are dead, kills himself. So we're gonna call that another absolute garbage card. So if you want to run this card, you have to run 1 Mac card and 2 absolute garbage cards. And if you want to be even the slightest bit consistent, you better be running them in multiples and be losing a lot of games, because this is not good. The other one that really gets me, I guess, since that tangent went a little bit far, but the one that really gets me is the Nordic Lines.
This is their Nordic Fields.
This is their Fields.
I think it would be very helpful to them. Nordic monsters on the field cannot be destroyed by battle. Oh, that's not too bad. Wait a second. When this card on the field is destroyed, destroy all face-up Nordic monsters. That's a genocide.
This is
I
not.
would side that against Nordics, because it's all face-up Nordics, not just the ones I control. I could side that and help beat Nordics. They do not want to be playing this card that actively makes them lose.
This is genocide. This is like, this could be called like Auschwitz for Nordics. Just play this card and then MST kill them all. Oh, I see you got your goat off. I don't want you to have that goat. Main phase 2, MST the Nordic Lights. This is awful, awful. And if you play
Don't play bad cards just because they are part of the archetype.
And so, like, people who will play this on DN, I will ask them, I will openly ask them, why are you playing that card? They're like, oh, it protects Nordics. It's good. It's a Nordic card. It's part of the archetype. You just play it. No, you don't. Stop it.
It does not make...
Save Nordic lives. Don't play this card.
Instead, you have to be open to the idea that you can play other cards that are kind of good, that don't go with the archetype. For example, Tour Guide Engine. It's very good. It's standalone. It gives you access to a whole lot of rank 3s.
Yeah, getting us, like, going straight into this, like, if you're archetype, because there's a lot of archetypes that Konami does not develop, like, develops a lot, like Nordics, but don't have, like, enough good cards so that, like, the whole Nordic deck, I have it in these 2 pages here.
That is your Nordic pool.
That is, as you can see, you run a maximum of 9 Nordics. 9.
And then the third
And the trap
circle
cards.
traps.
But, like, if Konami's underdeveloped your archetype, don't go out of the way trying to pick up the bad cards for that archetype just to play them. When you just use what's good, and then you take supplements like this Tour Guide Engine, and you can get access to all these great rank 3s and have good standalone plays, while still being able to manipulate your rogue deck, but not completely destroying yourself. So, moving forward, that's pretty much the big part for Nordics. To go on to examples, we don't have a BLS on us. We have a Chaos Sorcerer to stand for BLS. Now, if your deck is running multiple Darks and Lights, do yourself a favor. Throw a BLS in.
Play good cards. Good cards will help you win, even if you're playing a non-meta strategy.
Don't be the guy who tells yourself, well, BLS, that's so mainstream. You know who plays BLS? Tier players. Screw tier players. I'm a rogue deck player. No.
You still want to win games, so you should still be playing good cards.
Thank you. Yes, just do yourself this out. If you're running decks that are really like mono element, like pure earth decks, pure fire decks, pure wind decks, if they're rogue decks, you don't want to completely go out of the way. Like sometimes you see people playing Fireburn. Okay, so I guess that's let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone. First of all, don't disregard cards that are not in the archetype, that are not in the attribute, just because they're not in the attribute. I'm looking at you people who bought those fire structure decks 5 years ago and still play them as a full unit.
Oh, it's fire. It has to be good.
Like people who play Backfire. Like Backfire, I promise you, there's not a single deck that you will play Backfire in that will yield you a significant amount of advantage and or burn damage to justify its own existence. Don't play Backfire. Instead, what you can do, play those good cards, but also feel free to like splash in other good cards. Like, Grin. This card kills Ophion. This card kills a lot of things. It's a solid card. And if you're trying to build a 40 card deck and your archetype engine is this, or whatever rogue deck it is that you're playing, do yourself a favor. Add Grand Mole. Also, yeah, we have to go back. We have to go back because if you're playing a mono attribute deck that's pretty close to mono, not all mono, don't be afraid of good cards. but mostly mono.
Don't
Do
be
yourself
afraid
a
to
favor.
run support for that.
Find yourself your archetypes,
Or your
elemental lord, your attributes. Sorry, what is it? Archetype? Your attributes, elemental lord or elemental dragon, and see what you can't do. These are
Those
getting
are
to be
good
pretty
cards.
affordable. I think this will max out at like $10 now, which isn't so awful compared to like Draco Sack, who's 130. These things are like $4 bucks.
And if you're
Like, not
if
bad.
you're playing lights, if you're playing lights and don't have an elemental lord, doesn't matter. There's still good cards for that. BLS, like we mentioned before. Honest.
Yeah, go ahead. If you're playing some light cards, doesn't even need to go light. Do yourself the favor, throw in Honest, because Honest is Saki. RJ will tell you right about
Yeah.
He'll tell you about that.
Another example of a deck that I played 2 examples of this type of deck. One of them was good. It was Constellars. Constellar Couch right here. It played 3 tanky and a bear because this Constellar Cows is a beast warrior and is searchable. You can play tanky, search for it, then do your whole thing. Yeah, that's why it's so.
Oh, that's why they play Tenki. I'm good at this game, guys.
They get their Pollux Cows after searching it, and then they make Pleiades for free, and then they can return Tenki to their hand to search again using Pleiades as effect. Or they can just Tenki for bear and pop stuff using the 3 tanky and bear is a pretty good engine. And then there's someone that I played today playing Constellars, also Pleiades spam. He played this guy.
That card looks good. What's it do?
When this card is normal summoned, you can special summon a Constellar from your hand in face-up defense position. Okay, that's kind of reasonable. He's 6 stars. You have to tribute summon for him. To get his effect, he must be normal summoned. This guy used up his Pleiades. He wasn't like, let's overlay an M7 and start plussing next turn. No, let's sack it for this thing and special another level 6, that both of which are dead on their own, and then make Pleiades. Don't play bad cards just because they are part of the archetype. I'm going to say this again and again and again.
Because we're begging you, YouTube. That's what this segment is about. It's not for our benefit, it's for your benefit. Some good cards that you may also want to consider. Some of my favorite anti-meta picks right here. You got DD Warrior Lady. You can banish stuff like Ophan if you're playing a rogue deck. Can banish whatever you want. I love this card. Can banish Lens. Like that Fire Fist guy was playing it with, or no, that Evil Swarm guy who topped was playing 2 of these with his, what do you know, his Tour Guide engine.
Because they work well together.
Like, odd, why wouldn't he run stuff like those bad Evil Swarms? It's because he's good and he topped. And why'd he top? Because he wasn't afraid of the good cards.
It's like, oh,
Not afraid
Evil
of the
Swarm.
combos.
I'm making Evil Swarm. Let's throw in, what's this? Evil Swarm Oblivious. After damage calculation, if this card battles a monster, negate the effects of that monster. That doesn't seem too bad.
Wait, what
What's
seems
its
to be the
attack?
problem?
It's 450. It is 2050 defense. You're supposed to set this and let them run into it and not kill you and have their effect negated. And this doesn't help you at all whatsoever otherwise. You don't want to play it because it is bad just because it
No.
says Evil Swarm.
You're thinking, oh, that's not so bad. The problem is when you could be drawing and setting this card. Another card you could be drawing and setting is this card. This is Gravekeeper's Spy. This is a Gravekeeper Spy engine. Well, for the Chaos Dragon deck. Honestly, you should probably put a 3rd spy in here. We don't have a 3rd spy. But, essentially, you could be negating their effects by having them run an O-Wisp, and it's an Evil Swarm card, so that's pretty good Evil Swarms, right? Or you could be flipping Spy. Special more Spy on your turn, make Exceed, or just have extra cards here to Exceed with. And all the while, you don't have to play bad cards to do it. You can run Gravekeeper's Guard, who's just like a Penguin Soldier with more defense, which kills a lot of Exceed stuff. Or you can run Descendant in case, you draw into Spy, and then you flip Spy, special another Spy, summon Descendant, pop stuff.
Pop 2.
Or I know my friend in Flambells, when he used to play Flip Spy, Commandment, or Descendant, launch Spy into a back row, special summon his Flambell Magician, Sync 8.
pretty similar thing to the scraps that I did a while back.
Beautiful. Even in Nordics, like if you feel like running like the Odin version, get Spy, your turn, Valkyrie, you just made a 2-card Odin. And while it's not the best you could be doing, like it's a rogue deck, you can't always expect to do the best. But that's a visible win condition.
You just made Odin. Like, you went -1, but there's going to be someone out there who's playing 6 Sams, and you made Odin first turn, or they haven't made Shan yet, and now they can't get over you whatsoever. It's important to be able to do that without using up your entire hand, or playing bad cards that you can dead draw.
So, more good cards that you might want to try. Cyber Dragon, 21 beater, special summons itself. If you're playing a rogue deck,
Caius, got a free monster floating there, you can just sack it, and then it immediately pays for itself by banishing an opponent's card of your choice. And it's a 2400 beater, not that bad.
Doom Caliber Knight. It's Doom Caliber Knight. Consistently get your 1-for-1. I'd watch out in decks you play this thing. Like if you're using a lot of like too many effects. I tried playing it Nordics. It doesn't work. Don't try it.
Or maybe if you use up your hand really quickly for plays, just try and throw in a morphing jar. If you set your whole hand and flip this guy face up, you draw 5, and your opponent just gets their hand replaced. They like lose 4 cards and then draw 5. There you're going really plus, and it's pretty helpful.
I know your argument's going to be, I don't want to lose the Dark World matchup, but honestly, you're going to lose Dark World game 1 anyway. But don't fear the jar. Like if you can use a jar, like even Morphing Jar 2. Like I'd almost consider starting to main this because between my Nordics and another deck you'll see on this channel, Heimseth, we both discovered that this is a really good card right now, and if you're not killing yourself by running it, you know, it's just stuff to think about where you can really be getting the edge over your opponent while playing a rogue deck. Being able to just get in there and get what's really like good off against your opponent instead of fiddling around trying to figure out this. I'm sorry, Schwarzhoff, I'll make Loki tier 1 someday. But, furthermore, if you're playing a field spell, and it better not be this one, maybe you could try teching some Malefic Stardust Dragon.
Or Malefic Cyber End. That's just 4,000 beater is nice in pretty much any deck.
Protect your field spell. 2,500. You see stuff like Dark Worlds play it, and you see stuff like Gravekeepers play it. And the reason that they're playing it isn't because it's part of their archetype. Believe you me. The reason they're playing it is because it's a standalone good card. And when you're playing tier 2, you can't be afraid of standalone good cards. So, I think I already said this. Light and Dark, ELS/Chaos Sorcerer.
I think we've covered everything.
We've just hit everything here, except for Gale. Try it. He has Zophion's attack.
Can make it. Swing over something. A nice tuner. Dark if you want to tech like BLS or something.
Yeah, randomly make your randomly make an Armor Master if you have level 4s. Free stuff floating around your extra decks. So, in conclusion, if you are running rogue decks, do not be afraid of good cards. I guess the last one we need to hit, which we didn't really hit directly, is Tenki.
Well, I mentioned the Tenki.
Fireface Tank. If you're running Warriors, do yourself a favor, run Rhoda.
Running Beast Warriors, you do yourself a favor, run Tenki. Run generic search stuff, because
if you're running Reptiles, do yourself a favor, run that Exceed that searches for them that came out of the last set.
Because the example with Rhoda is, think about it. Let's just pretend that Svartalf here is a warrior, and then you also have something that's actually not bad in Nordics. Well, you could be playing as many of 3 of that, whatever good card it is, and then an extra Svartalf just because it fills your deck. And that means you draw into Svartalf sometimes, and that'd be pretty bad. Or you could play a Rhoda instead of that, and it's like the equivalent of running 4 good cards, 4 of the good card of your archetype, as opposed to running 3 goods and 1 bad.
And when you do that, you also thin your deck, which prevents you from drawing redundant cards later in the game. So, that is really...
Example would have been ninjas there because, yeah, Hanzo is like the good ninja. And so when you play Rhoda in it, it's not on theme. That's way, way older than ninjas. Well, argument there. But it's like effectively playing 4 Hanzos. Hanzo is your good card. You want your good card as much as possible when playing a bad, like, I guess, bad card. A rogue deck like that. Something that's not dragons or spell books that just are ridiculous.
So,
That's another
yeah,
video.
if you're out there and you're trying to build decks, like we sort of have covered earlier in this channel, with the way we build rogue decks and the way we try to encourage other people to build rogue decks and how we're going to really be hitting on this series here. Segment 1, do yourself a favor. When you're running a rogue deck, still be as competitive as you can. And that's really what we're trying to stress here. And so if you know...
Be the Yu-Gi-Oh! Hipster. Don't just play cards because no one else is doing it. Cards are banned because they are good. Cards are at 1 because they are good. If you can, then you probably should play it. And then you'll win more.
So, yeah, that is really our first segment. Don't forego good cards because you're running a rogue deck. So, if you like the segment, have other things that you find rogue players doing that you need ranted against, we will be here to do that. We have some ideas on how to continue this segment on our own, so we will be continuing this over time.
Comment, subscribe.
And most importantly, pay attention. If you know that guy who is playing this card, do him a favor, link him to this video. Let us try to help him, because it's for the good of the community and saves you time from playing that guy on DN. So yeah, Alec and RJ out.
Yep.